What's up, guys? It's your girl Mareesa, aka Egypt Divine. If you don't already know me, thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you like what I have to say, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell below so you can get all my updates for my newest and latest content regarding vlogs, music, podcasting, and etc. So, let's go ahead, as always, and not waste time. Let's jump right in. This segment is about pain and trauma. And I do want to put a disclaimer up here. All of my segments are not going to be about self-love and healing. Sometimes if there's something going on in the world that's like current events related or something regarding psychology, I will cover. But just for now, because I've been feeling inspired and this is a good outlet for me and I think that it's relatable content, I'm just going to kind of go over some thoughts and ideas that go through my mind that I know other people can relate to, that I hear other people complain about. So I want to talk about, like I said, pain and pain and perception. Pain and perception. I've been reading this book by Alan Watts. I have to. I don't know where I put this book at, guys. I gotta find it so I can show you guys. Hold on one second. Well, here we are. So, there's this book by Alan Watts called The Wisdom of Insecurity, a message for an age of anxiety, with an introduction by Deepak Chopra. So this is a wonderful book. This is what I've been reading on and off. In between, I've been reading a book by Dana Ramsey Berry. I believe it's called The Price for Their Pound of Flesh. I may be saying it a little bit backwards, but I loaned that to my parents to read. So in the meantime, this is what I'm working on. And Alan Watts is wonderful. I know many of you probably know him from YouTube, and I love his content on YouTube. I can literally get lost in it. I could listen to, an hour segment at any time. However, this book has helped me in so many ways. And it's not that, it's anything new, but it's just the way that he explains it's the way he explains things and the way he puts it into perspective and the way he makes things make sense. Like, there's certain times that are like ways I feel and I don't even know how to describe it. And he's literally put this into words perfectly. So, like I said, 10 out of 10, definite. I recommend The Wisdom of Insecurity by Alan Watts. Available just about everywhere. I got mine from Barnes and Nobles. And then there's also a book by Deepak Chopra that I'll go over in another segment called Power, Freedom, and Grace. And that's a self-help book that's helped me a lot. So with this book, The Wisdom of Insecurity, it's not just for somebody who's super anxious and that can't be around people all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what you think when you read it. Because I'm like, I have insecurities, but do I really need to read this book? This book has changed my life, once again. And the main point that I've been able to take away from this book and from Alan is that life is all about balance, like I tell you guys all the time. And, what we perceive as pain, though it hurts and it's painful, what we perceive as pain is sometimes a lesson that the pain might hurt, but the lesson is worth it. Put it like that. So with that being said, how many times have you gone through something and you literally thought it was the end of the world? You go through a breakup, you lose a friendship, whatever, and you literally think it's the end of the world. You're never gonna be able to, move on again, or you're never gonna find a job that you like again, or whatever it is. And then you walk out of this one door, and then you walk through two new doors. And when you walk through the first door, there's a little bit waiting for you. You walk through the second door, okay, here's the second piece. And then once you walk through the third door, it's like, oh shit. All right, I had one piece while I was here. I had to go through this obstacle But now I got all three pieces, and I done figured the puzzle out. So, you know, change is not easy. I say it all the time. Change is so uncomfortable, especially for somebody who is a fixed sign like me. Change is super uncomfortable, especially when I get into a routine and things have been, a certain way for a while. Whether it's breaking generational curses or, leaving that narcissistic friend or girlfriend or boyfriend alone, or taking that leap of faith when you're really down on your luck and just believing that, things are going to look up and things will be better. Paid prepares you for other moments. And I will say that going through pain too young, I think turns many people into addicts, narcissists, escape artists, whatever you want to call it. People that, don't want to deal with their trauma and their, immediate reality. And so for that, those people, it's going to be harder for them to kind of go through this process. And people like that don't even want to feel the pain. So they're not going to go through the whole soul searching process anyway. Or if they do, it's going to take them a while, because if they wanted to do it, they would have already been did it, right? However, when you start to go through things in your teens, in your 20s, in your 30s, I think there's a difference, because you're actually wise enough to receive the lesson. You know what I mean? Like, I've dealt with a couple of narcissists before. And as a matter of fact, looking back on most of my relationships, everybody that I pretty much went for, either they were super charming or very confident or both. And, I know that I'm beautiful on the inside and out. And that, again, even that is subjective, because of somebody else, I'm not somebody else's cup of tea, and that's fine. But, I know that I'm beautiful inside and out. However, I always, when I dated, looked for partners to bring balance. And I think that's what most people do. I mean, it's normal if, I'm in a relationship, I want to be with somebody who's going to eat the pickles and tomatoes that I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, this is the person that's going to eat the pickles off my burger. This is the person that, I can spell and, they're good at math. So, I look for that balance, and I don't think it's anything wrong with that. However, you start to look for this person to almost like fill a part of you. So for me, I went through, a lot of painful relationships, and, I was never with somebody who spoke my language. I'm a very empathetic and compassionate and caring person. And I'm outspoken if I need to be, but I can be quiet. Just a well-rounded person that gets along with just about everybody. But I had to realize that, just because I got along with somebody doesn't mean that they're one for me, or because we have good sex, or because I love them, or, whatever it is. So here I was in most of my relationships trying to find this person that, they're so confident that they're going to make me more confident. And instead, and in the beginning I was confident, and then my confidence got, broken down. But instead of going for, a more laid back kind of guy or a more nonchalant type of guy, I still went for the same type of men. And I didn't realize that, I had some underlying issues, possibly daddy issues, definitely daddy issues, if we're being honest. And, just making the same mistakes, because even though, like I said, I am beautiful, I was never super confident in myself. And I'm just a super humble person. I don't believe that I'm better than anybody based on how I look or how much money I have or my credentials, or, I just don't believe in that. So going through all of that, as painful as it was, and as many, heartbreaks and crying and whatever that I've been through the process, I finally, after introspection, I finally looked in the mirror and been able to realize, like, okay, yes, it was them. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, it was you, because, you should have known better and did better. But the only thing I can do now is know better and continue to act in alignment with what's good for me, or be in alignment with what's for me. So, through all of those lessons, as much as they hurt, and as much as I thought I would never get over this breakup, or as much as I thought I would never, be in a relationship again, or I would never be on my feet again. Each and every single time, what I wanted for myself that I didn't get, what I wanted for myself that I didn't get wasn't for me anyway. It wasn't for me anyway. And I ended up getting something different. Sometimes the things that you ask for are not the things that you need. And that's a straight up fact as well. So like I said, the pain that comes with it, it hurts. But once you're able to remove some of the attachment and remember that, you are just the spirit having a human experience, even if that's not what you believe, it's a good way to kind of analyze it and look at it like, okay, when I get into this vehicle is driving, but I'm in it and I'm controlling it. And it's the same thing. Your body is your vehicle. You're driving it. But, on the inside, you're really just a spinal cord, a brain, a heart, a whole bunch of organs. Like you're literally just a bunch of atoms, water, dust, meat. Like, depending on which level you want to look at it. But like, really, we're just molecules and atoms. Like we're water. And then this is how we look on the outside. So think about it like that. Like, yo, you are just here to have this experience. You're here to learn and grow. And there's no such thing as a utopian society as much as we like to fantasize about it. I don't think there's any way to have a utopian society, because even if we deem this a utopian society to somebody else, again, everything is subjective, right? So the only thing you can do is continue to be in control of yourself, like I said, and practice non-resistance and just going with the flow, like knowing what's meant for you is for you, and accepting the pleasure with the pain. Everything can't be great all the time. And even if you live a really good life and you're financially successful and, you have a husband or a wife and kids or whatever it is, you travel all the time, you're rich, loaded, whatever it is that, fits your guidelines to make you happy, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have bad days. It doesn't mean that, negative things aren't going to happen, that you're not going to lose people, because this is just the process of life. And how you view things will change. When you change the way you view things, it'll change the way you feel and how you handle those emotions, like I said. So, of course, if you go through things, you go through pain, you can't just avoid how you feel. You got to sit with the shit and go through the process. If you're depressed, you're not going to get fixed overnight. I'll give you the same, example I give you all the time. If I want to decide to be fit today, I can decide to go to the gym and start today, but I'm not going to lose 20 pounds in one day. It's just not even normal or healthy. Unless I decide like, oh, I'm going to go, get surgery, do whatever. But like, there's no way that I'm going to go to the gym and drink enough water and eat healthy enough to lose 20 pounds in one day. Nobody's going to do it. So you have to be realistic. You don't just bake a cake. You go to the store and buy all the ingredients, and then you have to mix them together, and then you have to put it in the oven. And then when it comes out of the oven, you have to put the icing on it. So it's like we want things to be so immediate when it comes to certain things. And, everything is a process. So while you're going through the pain, it's going to hurt. You're going to wait. You're going to wish it was over, but as long as you remain strong and remember, what you deserve, whether it's from other people or whether it's from yourself, because maybe you self-sabotage for yourself. Maybe, you down talk yourself. Whatever it is, like I said, going through that pain, once you finally accept it, because it's one thing to understand it, or it's one thing to go through it. Then it's a next step to understand it, and then the next step to accept it. Because I can understand something and accept it, but not really accept it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I know what it is, but I haven't fully accepted it. That's all a process. It's a day at a time. But like I said, did the pain not make you stronger? Everything that I went through in negative friendships, jobs, relationships, if nothing else, it taught me what I did and what I do not want. There are certain things that I don't want out of a relationship that I didn't know until things happened. And then I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. So, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Like I said, not always, but the pain really does make you stronger. And, it builds character. And I hate to be that person to say it could always be worse, because we all are going through shit. And who am I to tell you that it could be worse when it's bad enough? Like, bad enough is bad enough. I get all of that. But just know it could always be worse. And like I said, like, you have full control. You have full control. You have the ability to do anything that, you want to do that's within human power. You know what I mean? So while you're, like I said, going through the pain, one day just take a step back and kind of analyze why you're in this situation, how you got here. And 9 times out of 10, you'll look back and say, this was a version of me that I no longer identify with. Or, I knew that I shouldn't have been dealing with this person, but I still continued to do it. And then now look where it got me. Whatever it is, like I said, 9 times out of 10, it was so you could learn this lesson. And if you have to continue going through these painful lessons, it's because you haven't learned yet. And it's just like anything else, like a job. If you're tired of a job and you keep working there, keep working there, keep working there till you snap, you reached your breaking point. You want change. You can no longer tolerate it. Your boundaries have changed. And it's the same thing, with anything else in pain. You might go through a relationship and you're like, yo, I'm going through this, and this. And you might be done, but you ain't done for real, but you'll know. You'll know when you're done, because it's just like, all right, I need change. I can't do this anymore. This is some pain, but what is this pain going to teach me? And then that's the other thing about pain too. Changing is uncomfortable. It can be painful, uncomfortable, whatever the word is for it. And as you change, like I said, it's like, do you want to still be upset and uncomfortable in the situation that you're in now? Or do you want to change, be uncomfortable for a little bit, and then feel better in, a couple of months when you're in a different mindset and you're a little bit further than you were before? So, change is not easy and pain is not easy, but I do think that pain is a necessary part of life, unfortunately. It just is what it is. I mean, I don't know why, pain receptors, pain, this, I don't know why all these things were created while they're here, but they are. So, like, we can't really dwell on that shit. It's here to stay. So, with that being said, take into consideration, like I said, everything that you've ever learned, all of the lessons that you've gone through, and, the shame, embarrassment, pain, all of the negative emotions or emotions that are, not emotions you want to feel. And then think about what you've learned, like I said, because dealing with several narcissists, at some point I had to finally wake up and say, like, oh shit, I keep learning the same lesson. It's not necessarily that I keep attracting all the same kind of people, like, because I attract all types of people, but at the same time, for whatever reason, this is the one that I keep choosing. This is the one that I keep going to. So what did this pain teach me? Like I said, and at the time, I thought it was the end of the goddamn world. I thought it was the end of the world. But now that I'm, several years in and I'm in my 20s, 25, my mid-20s, it's just like, okay, I had to go through that to get to this point, because otherwise, I don't think I ever would have realized. And I would have just been living in my own little bubble. So once again, pain just is what it is. But, a little bit of temporary pain can bring you to, even better pleasure. So it's going to be a constant up and down. Life is never going to be just pleasure, 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 pleasure. And it shouldn't just be pain, 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 pain. But at the same time, I think if you go through enough pain and lessons and stuff, especially when you're younger, in your teens and 20s, and let's even just say 30s, by the time you get to your 40s and 50s, you're unfuckwittable. Like, nobody can throw you off your balance. I already been there, done that. You might feel some pain if you lose somebody or, something that's out of your control. But beyond that, by the time you get to your, hopefully in your 20s, but, by the time you get to your 30s and 40s, you could just be like, yo, I've seen this all and I've done this all, and I'm able to take a step back and process things differently and more logically and from a less emotional and offended standpoint. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying to go out and seek pain, unless that's your thing, whatever. But, I'm not telling y'all to go out and seek pain. But all I'm saying is, appreciate all the lessons that you get. And if you learned a lesson, then you didn't really lose anything at all. You just, you close one chapter, you learn something, and now you have the ability to level up because you have another lesson under your belt. So like I said, go through your feels, feel your pain, go through your lessons, introspect. My theme for 2022 is literally solitude and, and introspection. Solitude and introspection, because, nobody got me like me and nobody's going to do it for me. So I hope y'all like this segment. Thank y'all so much for hanging in this long, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.